Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. Elias Thorne, a man whose life had been a tapestry woven with the finest threads of detail, found himself increasingly unable to discern the intricate patterns. At 72, his hands still steady from years of meticulous woodworking could carve the most delicate curves, but his eyes, once sharp and perceptive, were beginning to betray him. It began subtly, a slight blur around the edges of words in his beloved first editions. At first, he dismissed it as fatigue, a natural consequence of a long day spent immersed in his craft. But the blur persisted, growing bolder with each passing week. Reading once, a source of profound joy, became a strained effort, each page a frustrating exercise in squinting and repositioning the book in search of a fleeting moment of clarity. Nighttime driving, once a peaceful ritual, filled him with trepidation. Headlights became blinding halos, streetlights morphed into hazy orbs, and the familiar roads of his quiet town transformed into treacherous labyrinths. Even the morning sun, which he had always welcomed with open arms, now assaulted his eyes with an unbearable intensity, forcing him to retreat behind drawn curtains and darkened glasses. He remembered his father Edgar, facing a similar decline in his later years. Edgar, a proud architect, had eventually been forced to abandon his drafting table, his vision fading to a point where he could no longer distinguish the precise lines and intricate details that defined his life's work. Elias had witnessed his father's slow surrender with a mixture of sorrow and a silent vow that he would never allow the same fate to befall him. He attributed his father's decline to the general lack of knowledge and options available at the time, a sentiment which gave him a little comfort. But the reality was now starkly different. He feared becoming a burden, a diminished version of himself dependent on others for the simplest of tasks. His independence was his most prized possession, and the thought of losing it filled him with a profound sense of unease. The vibrant colors of his garden, a riot of roses, dahlias, and lilies, seemed to be fading, losing their luster. The faces of his grandchildren, once so clear and expressive, were becoming indistinct, their features softened by the encroaching haze. His woodworking, his passion, his solace was becoming increasingly difficult. The fine lines he needed to see to carve intricate designs were disappearing. He was starting to miss the details. He scheduled an appointment with Dr. Anya Sharma, his longtime ophthalmologist, a woman whose gentle demeanor and reassuring competence he had always trusted. The examination was thorough, the dilation drops stinging his eyes and blurring his vision even further. As he sat in the dimly lit office, waiting for Dr. Sharma to return, a sense of dread washed over him. He knew deep down that something was wrong, that his fears were about to be confirmed. When Dr. Sharma finally entered, her expression was grave but compassionate. "Elias," she began, her voice soft and measured, "I've noticed some changes in your eyes. There's some clouding of the lenses, which is likely the early stages of cataracts." The word hung in the air, heavy with implications. Cataracts. The very word conjured images of blindness, of darkness, of a life lived in perpetual twilight. He gripped the arms of the chair, his knuckles turning white. Dr. Sharma continued explaining the nature of cataracts, the gradual opacification of the lens, the progressive blurring of vision. She spoke of surgical options, of lens replacements, but her words seemed distant and unreal, muffled by the ringing in his ears. Surgery was an option, she assured him, a common and relatively safe procedure, but it was still surgery, with all the inherent risks and uncertainties. "We can monitor the progression," she said, "and consider surgery when it becomes necessary. But there are also things you can do to slow down the development of cataracts and protect your vision." She spoke of antioxidants, of the importance of a healthy diet, of protecting his eyes from excessive sunlight. She mentioned specific nutrients, vitamin C and E lutein, and zeaxanthin, all of which had been shown to play a role in maintaining eye health. As Elias listened, a flicker of hope ignited within him. Perhaps he wasn't entirely helpless. Perhaps he could fight back, could take control of his own destiny. He remembered his grandmother, Alara, a woman of fierce independence and unwavering determination, who had always advocated for the power of natural remedies. Alara had lived to be 98, her mind sharp and her spirit indomitable, and she had always attributed her longevity to her unwavering belief in the healing power of nature. He had always been skeptical of her remedies, preferring the certainty of modern medicine, but now faced with the prospect of losing his sight, he was willing to explore any avenue that might offer a glimmer of hope. He left Dr. Sharma's office with a prescription for stronger reading glasses and a referral to a surgical specialist. But more importantly, he left with a newfound sense of purpose. He would not surrender to the darkness. He would fight for his vision, for his independence, for his life. The next morning, Elias awoke with a sense of determination he hadn't felt in years. He brewed a strong cup of coffee, grabbed his reading glasses, and headed to his study, where he spent the next several hours poring over medical journals, scientific articles, and online resources researching the role of nutrition in eye health. He discovered a wealth of information about the benefits of antioxidants, the protective effects of vitamins and minerals, and the specific nutrients that were essential for maintaining healthy vision. He learned about lutein and zeaxanthin carotenoids, found in leafy green vegetables and brightly colored fruits, which acted as natural sunscreens for the eyes, protecting them from harmful UV radiation. He learned about vitamin C and E, powerful antioxidants that help to neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that could damage cells and contribute to the development of cataracts and other age-related eye diseases. And he learned about the importance of a balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, for providing the body with the essential nutrients it needed to thrive. As he delved deeper into his research, he stumbled upon a fascinating article about the potential benefits of certain fruits in preventing and slowing the progression of cataracts. The article highlighted the high antioxidant content of blueberries, rose hips, strawberries, cherimoya, and dragon fruit, all of which were rich in vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that were beneficial for eye health. Blueberries, with their deep blue color, were packed with anthocyanins, potent antioxidants that protected against cellular damage. Rose hips, the fruit of the rose plant, were an excellent source of vitamin C, an essential nutrient for collagen production and immune function. Strawberries, with their sweet and tangy flavor, were rich in vitamin C and ellagic acid, both of which had been shown to have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Cherimoya, also known as custard apple, was a tropical fruit with a creamy texture and a sweet, delicate flavor, rich in vitamin C, vitamin B6, and antioxidants. Dragon fruit, with its vibrant pink skin and white flesh speckled with black seeds, was a good source of vitamin C, antioxidants, and fiber. Inspired by his research, Elias decided to embark on a 30-day challenge, incorporating one of these eye-healthy fruits into his diet each day. He would start with blueberries, adding them to his morning oatmeal and snacking on them throughout the day. The next day, he would add rose hips to his tea, steeping them in hot water and enjoying their tart floral flavor. Then he would add strawberries to his smoothies, blending them with yogurt and spinach for a nutritious and delicious treat. He was determined to make this work. The fear of losing his vision, the thought of having his world turn to a blur, was a powerful motivator. He started with blueberries. He had always enjoyed them on his oatmeal, but now he was much more deliberate. He savored each bite, thinking of the small but mighty berries as tiny warriors fighting to protect his sight. Over the next few weeks, Elias diligently incorporated each of the 5 fruits into his daily diet. He experimented with different recipes, finding creative ways to enjoy their flavors and reap their health benefits. He made blueberry muffins, rose, hip jam, strawberry shortcake, Cherimoya, smoothies, and dragon fruit salads. He shared his creations with his grandchildren, telling them stories about the power of fruits and the importance of taking care of their eyes. He started a small garden, planting blueberry bushes, rose bushes, and strawberry plants. He tended to his garden with care, nurturing the plants and watching them grow, feeling a sense of connection to the earth and the natural world. He felt a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. As the days turned into weeks, Elias began to notice subtle but significant changes in his vision. The blur around the edges of words seemed to be diminishing. The halos around streetlights at night were less pronounced. The morning sun, while still bright, was no longer as overwhelming. He even felt confident enough to take a few short drives at dusk. He felt like he was gaining ground. He was winning the battle. He returned to Dr. Sharma for a follow-up appointment, feeling a mixture of hope and trepidation. The examination was once again thorough, the dilation drops stinging his eyes and blurring his vision. As he waited for Dr. Sharma to return, he took a deep breath and tried to remain calm. When she finally entered, her expression was noticeably brighter. "Elias," she said, a smile playing on her lips. "I'm pleased to report that your vision has stabilized. The clouding of the lenses hasn't progressed, and your overall eye health has improved." Elias felt a wave of relief wash over him. He had done it. He had fought back against the darkness and emerged victorious. "I've been making some changes to my diet," he said, incorporating more fruits and vegetables, especially blueberries, rose hips, strawberries, cherimoya, and dragon fruit. Dr. Sharma nodded approvingly. "That's excellent," she said. "A healthy diet is essential for maintaining eye health and slowing the progression of cataracts." She cautioned him that his efforts didn't guarantee he would never need surgery, but by taking proactive steps, he was significantly improving his odds. The stabilization of his vision was an immense relief, but the benefits extended far beyond the purely physical. As his eyesight improved, Elias felt a renewed sense of energy and vitality. He spent more time in his garden, tending to his plants, breathing in the fresh air, and soaking up the warm sunshine. He resumed his woodworking, carving intricate designs with a newfound sense of precision and confidence. He started reading again, devouring books with the same passion he had felt in his youth. He took evening walks, enjoying the beauty of his town under the soft glow of the streetlights. He even started painting, capturing the vibrant colors of his garden on canvas. But perhaps the most profound benefit was the sense of control he had regained. He had faced the prospect of vision loss with courage and determination, and he had taken proactive steps to protect his eyesight. He had refused to surrender to the darkness, and he had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. He felt a renewed sense of gratitude for the simple things in life, the beauty of nature, the love of his family, the joy of creation. He realized that even in the face of adversity, there was always hope, always a way to find light in the darkness. One evening, as Elias sat in his garden, surrounded by the vibrant colors of his flowers, he reflected on his journey. He had faced a frightening challenge, but he had met it with courage, determination, and a healthy dose of blueberries, rose hips, strawberries, cherimoya, and dragon fruit. He had learned that sometimes the smallest daily choices, like adding fruit to your plate, can change the course of your health and independence. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over his garden, Elias smiled. He could see clearly now, not just with his eyes, but with his heart and his soul. He was grateful for the opportunity to experience the beauty of the world, and he was determined to continue living his life to the fullest, one delicious eye-healthy fruit at a time. He decided to start writing a blog about his experiences, sharing his story and his research with others. He wanted to inspire people to take control of their own health, to make informed choices about their diet and lifestyle, and to never give up hope no matter what challenges they faced. He called his blog Visionary Living, and he dedicated it to his grandmother, Alara, the woman who had taught him the power of natural remedies and the importance of believing in himself. The blog quickly gained a following, attracting readers from all over the world who were inspired by Elias's story and his practical advice. He received countless emails and messages from people who had been diagnosed with cataracts or other eye conditions, thanking him for giving them hope and for providing them with the tools they needed to protect their vision. Elias became a passionate advocate for eye health, speaking at conferences, giving interviews, and writing articles for magazines and newspapers. He even started a foundation to support research into natural remedies for eye diseases. He had turned his own personal challenge into an opportunity to help others, and he found a deep sense of purpose in his work. Years passed, and Elias continued to live a full and active life, his vision remaining stable, his spirit undimmed. He continued to tend to his garden, to carve intricate designs, to read voraciously, and to share his story with the world. He became a living testament to the power of natural remedies, the importance of healthy living, and the resilience of the human spirit. And he never forgot the lessons he had learned during his journey, the lessons about courage, determination, and the simple pleasures of life. He knew that he was fortunate to have had the resources and the support to take control of his health, and he was committed to making those resources available to others so that everyone could have the opportunity to protect their vision and live a full and independent life. He often thought about his father Edgar and how different his life might have been if he had had access to the same knowledge and resources. He was determined to ensure that future generations would not have to suffer the same fate, that they would have the tools they needed to maintain their eye health and live their lives to the fullest. And so, Elias Thorne, the woodworker, the gardener, the writer, the advocate, the visionary, continued his journey, sharing his light with the world, one delicious eye-healthy fruit at a time. Health 2660. Thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video. And until then, be kind to yourself.